you're all having an awesome day. I'm having an awesome day. It feels great to be a horror fan. So, you guys, today we're going to talk a little about, Robert Englund saying that he will not return back as Freddy Krueger to the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, and the potential future of Nightmare on Elm Street and franchise. We might have just got like a tease, you guys. This is crazy. But before we get started, definitely smash the like button because it definitely helps. You also to kind of get into this article that was over on Variety. Robert Englund kind of touched on the character of Freddy Krueger and how he can't, portray him due to, everything with health and stuff like that. And also, he talked about the future and how you can still do a Nightmare on Elm Street series. So he says, I know who icons are. He says, I'm not an icon. Maybe Freddy Krueger is, but I'm not. I'm just a character, actor, a utility actor who's been very lucky. So he's very humble. Robert Englund's very humble. I actually got to meet him. And he also talked about how, the feeling of Nightmare on Elm Street and how there's other rooms for, the potential actors to come and play in this franchise. Also saying that I felt there was a cultural shift that people recognize. He says, horror is the punk rock of cinema in its own way. There was a recognition of pulp as a great ingredient in our cultural world. There's room for pulp and melodrama, and the door opened wider for horror. Also, kind of touching on the last Nightmare on Elm Street, we got the remake saying that Jackie's just so good, a wonderful actor. So I don't think it was that he says. I've always thought that Freddy is described as a child killer. So when they made Freddy a child molester in the remake, that was not Freddy. I don't think. By taking it to such a dark place, there's no room for the personality of Freddy to be exploited. And that's coming directly from Robert Englund. Also, while speaking with Englund, it's impossible not to wonder if he's thought about the future of the franchise. Even though he's never ran any films, he has an idea about how to bring Elm Street back into modern times, saying that you'd have to deal with technology and culture. He says, for instance, if one of the girls was an influencer, it would be interesting for Freddy to somehow hunt her subconscious and manifest himself, perhaps exploit everybody that followed her. Would he be willing to put on the fedora again for the right script? I'm too old and thick to play Freddy now, Englund says. I just can't do fight scenes for more than one take anymore. I've got a bad neck and bad back and arthritis in my right wrist, so I have to hang it up, but I will love a cameo. So, you all, to get into everything, I love that Robert Englund kind of touched on a remake, saying that was the problem, because, a lot of people always wonder what Robert thought about, Jackie playing Freddy and everything. So, he definitely said that it wasn't the film, it was more of how they try to make Freddy be out to be something that he's not in the other films, which I kind of agree. They did make him more of like a molester. They didn't make him like a child murderer. So I definitely agree with Robert on that. And I got the, this is kind of like old news to me. I actually talked to Robert Englund at Horror Hound. I had to ask him, and he just basically said that it wasn't enough Viagra in the world to make him play Freddy again. He was very cool, very humble. We kind of had some laughs back and forth. Robert Englund is so cool, and he definitely loves, the character of Freddy and his supporters and everything. But yeah, I kind of knew, he was just like, but yeah, he's saying that it's obviously he can't play Freddy Krueger anymore, and his body is kind of giving out in certain areas, which is fair. Robert's been around for a long time. He's such a cool person, though, and I feel like, to kind of touch on it, it'll never be another Robert Englund. Yes, I said Robert Englund because Robert Englund, in my eyes, he is Freddy Krueger. And the reason I say that, he's not Michael, he's not Jason Voorhees or Ghostface, people that have masks on. You just kind of have to put a personality behind it and, just have, like, the mannerisms and stuff like that. With Robert Englund, you got to have, like, a lot of his movements, his posture, plus personality, plus the voice, and plus a lot of the things that he has done that no one can capture. A lot of the cool movements he has, and that came from Robert Englund, and Wes Craven brought that to us. Rest Wes Craven's soul, man. He brought us Ghostface and Robert. But one thing I want to touch on is that he also said that someone that he had in mind to play Freddy Krueger is very interesting, saying Englund picked for a modern Freddy. He was wowed by a fan who mentioned Kevin Bacon as a replacement. And he said this, you guys. I know he respects the genre and he's such a fine physical actor. He says, I think that in the silences and the way Kevin moves, it will be interesting. Definitely Kevin Bacon, he's done a lot of, you know, great roles out there in cinema, and I can definitely see Kevin Bacon. Every time someone talks about, you know, Freddy Krueger being portrayed by someone else, they say Kevin Bacon. But one thing I want to kind of throw out there, if you've been following the channel, you know, I kind of been saying is, I think personally someone that will kill a Freddy Krueger role, and it comes from my favorite TV series, Jamie Campbell Bower. Oh my God, he played Vecna. Everything I seen in Stranger Things with Vecna, it just screamed and yelled, you know, Freddy Krueger, the voice, the way he walked, the mannerisms. And you know, Duffer Brothers are big Nightmare on Elm Street fans. I definitely can see him doing that, and he's younger, and I know they can definitely kind of put some of that Robert Englund look on him off of what they did with Vecna. So I can see Jamie doing it, but I also see Kevin Bacon doing it for sure. Comment down below what you guys think about that choice. Also, to touch on Robert Englund's, you know, plan in the future for Nightmare on Elm Street, that's very interesting, coming from the man himself, saying, you know, basically that it would be cool to see someone have, you know, followers and stuff like that involved in today's life and reality with technology and culture, and how somehow she gets hunted, you know, through her, you know, the people who follow her and stuff like that, and you know, subconsciously Freddy just comes back and he manifests himself into today's world. And I think that would be so scary, because you know, people just, the way the world is ran off social media and everything, and you kind of, you know, Freddy comes off of fear, and he's in your dreams and stuff. So for him to come through, like, you know, social media and today's culture, and him being, you know, manifested into, you know, today, I think that will work. I think it will definitely work, especially how the way I'm picturing Robert saying it, just having a chick just kind of just like, maybe like almost having like she's obsessed with her followers or something, and it's kind of like Freddy's corrupting her whole world, not just through a dream, but also through a dream, but just through reality. I think that would be crazy, because I think that if you use something like that, like he said, kind of exploiting and going towards everyone that followed her, it will work, because that's how the roots of Nightmare on Elm Street is based off of. You know, you kind of have these moments where you got teens and they're having bad dreams and they're kind of manifesting Freddy into their world. I think it will be perfect. It will be absolutely perfect to just do something of that sort for sure. I think it'll be cool, unique, and he said he think Kevin Bacon, the way he moves, it'll be very interesting. I think that I think it could work. And I feel like we got Michael, we've got Ghostface, we got the Welcome to Camp Crystal Lake TV series. We have all this crazy stuff, and I really do think it's time for a Nightmare on Elm Street. I think that this is the perfect time. Strike while the iron is hot, and we can get a good Nightmare on Elm Street series, because Nightmare on Elm Street has a lot of following, you know, a lot of followers. And man, I know Heather Langenkamp, from my understanding, she's down. I've heard in interviews that she actually wants to come back to the series. It's just kind of Robert. I know she'll be down as soon as it kicks back up. We gotta have, you know, Nancy back. I love Heather Langenkamp. She's amazing. Final girl. She's definitely, you know, top 3. We all love her. She's iconic. She has some of the best scenes in Nightmare on Elm Street. And I would love to see her back on the screen. Having, you know, we had Sidney Prescott, Laurie Strode. Now it's time for Nancy. I think it would be cool. So comment down below what you guys think about everything we just talked about. But unfortunately, this is the end of the video. Don't forget to hit me on my social medias. ILIKESCARY on Instagram, ILIKESCARY _ on TikTok. We're on Facebook, ILIKESCARY on Twitter. And yeah, you all both to subscribe. Next week, click join. Remember the channel. And yeah, you guys, I want you all to watch some horror movies and stay scary out there. I love you all. Peace.